back, another Mad Movie Mark movie review. Continuing my trek through the Rotten Tomatoes landscape, I am attempting to view and review every movie that has a 100% fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes. By my count, that is currently 208, and I know it changes all the time. Movies come off, movies come on, but I will do my best to kind of keep true to the list. And at the end, I will have my own list that ranks the movies from least best to best. This is going to be a very hard list because I know the movies that are coming up, at least some of the movies that are coming up that I need to watch, and some of them are just amazing. It's going to be hard for me to come up with like a solid top 10 or top 20 when there's just so many good movies. So I'm on number 11. I am doing the movies in chronological order. So it's from the 1920s silent movie era to present day. I am at 1931, and this is number 11 out of 206. The name of the film is Mädchen in Uniform from 1931, or if you translate it to English, it's Girls in Uniform. I apologize. I'm probably going to get a lot of the names incorrect, and I probably got the title incorrect. I just have a hard time with other languages but English. It's no disrespect. I have a tough time. I apologize. So this movie does three things I never thought a movie would do. First, it has a female director in the 1930s, which I think is absolutely amazing and absolutely blew my mind. I couldn't believe that even today in 2020, we seem to have or 2022, we have a hard time getting female directors. I mean, I'm sure there's no shortage of them. We just have a backward society where we don't use them. And I'm very excited that they had a female director back in the 1930s in Germany. I think it's absolutely great. The second thing that goes on in this movie that I never thought would happen is there are no males in this movie. It's a female-dominated movie. It has all women and girls. I reviewed a movie a little ways back, which was one of my least favorite movies of all time. It was called Dreamcatcher. It was a Stephen King adaptation. It had all men and absolutely no women, and it was terrible. So now I'm glad to see a movie that has all women and no men, and it's great. So that's good to see. I love a good, strong female lead. I love a good, strong female story, and I honestly don't think I've ever seen a movie that is 100% all female. I tried thinking about this earlier, but I mean, I didn't think too hard or too long, but I cannot think of a movie off the top of my head where it was all female. So if anyone knows any movies out there, please let me know, because this is the only one that I've ever heard of. So it stars Dorothea Reek as Frey von Bernberg. It stars Hertha Thiel as Manuela. It stars Amelia Unda as Obin and Ellen Swaznik as Issa. So those are the four main characters. So in the movie, Frey von Bernberg plays a teacher at a school for all women. They have a new student who has entered the school. Her name is Manuela. I believe she is supposed to be around 14 years old. There are students there that are younger than her and students there that are older than her. From what I can gather, this is a place where they send girls who have fathers that are fighting in the war, that are in the military, and maybe the mothers don't have the means to watch their children, to care for their children. So they send them to this kind of school where they're supposed to learn to grow up to be good women, good wives. They're supposed to grow up to, in the movie they said, we hope that they'll grow up to marry soldiers. So that is basically their lot in life. That is what they are handed to them. This is a movie where they don't get to necessarily decide their fate. Their fate is decided for them. And that comes into play a little bit later in the movie as well. And then Obine, she is kind of the head master at the school. She is very military in nature. She does not let the girls have their anything, have money. They're not allowed to wear their own clothes. They have to wear uniforms. They're not allowed to talk to each other. They have like a communal area at night where they all sleep. They're not allowed to talk to each other. Basically, no fun of any kind. They are there to learn and to be proper, and that is how it must be. She kind of is the kind of woman who will rule with her iron fist. She is very unemotional, about things. She's very straight-faced. This is her job. She thinks that she's doing a good thing for these girls, that when these girls grow up, they will have a strong husband, they will have a family, they will know how to be a good wife. That is basically what this girl is. And then you have Isa. She's basically the troublemaker of the school. She does everything she can to break the rules. When the headmasters and the teachers aren't looking, she's making fun of them. She's basically, she's seen as the funny one of the group, but she's also the rebellious one. And she's basically the one that people turn to when they need like a laugh, or they need someone to like, raise the rally cry or something like that. That's basically who she is. So when Manuela goes to the school, she's kind of at first told by the school children, don't fall in love with the teacher Fry von Bernberg. Every girl seems to fall in love with her because she is the one teacher that is nice. But they say that she can be nice at one point and stern at another point. But they describe her as attractive and kind of what they're missing in their lives. Basically, she's the only one that shows them love. She's the only one that shows them emotion. She'll take them aside and she'll have talks with them, trying to cheer them up, trying to kind of really figure out what they're thinking and figure out why they are acting the way they are. So she basically is like almost like a mother figure to them, but they see her as someone who is physically attractive. So this movie is groundbreaking in that it is the first movie to deal with kind of like, and I apologize, I don't know what words I'm supposed to use. I'm just using words that I grew up with. So this is the first movie that kind of dealt with being gay or being homosexual, specifically being lesbian. So they feel like they have this, sexual attraction to her. At night, when she tells everyone goodnight, she kisses them on the head, and they are waiting for this every night. They climb to the front of their beds, and they are bated breath. They're waiting for her to give them a goodnight kiss. So Manuela is told, like, don't fall in love with her. Whatever you do, everyone does it. And she's kind of like, well, why would you tell me that? Like, why would I fall in love with her? But as the movie goes on, Manuela gets in trouble for certain things that are kind of questionable, and Fry von Bernberg is really the only one there for her. Like I said, she'll take her aside, she'll talk to her, she'll be like, hey, your day is not so bad, like my day is just the same as yours. She actually tries to connect with them on a different level that no other person actually has tried. All the other teachers there, they're somewhat afraid of Obine or Oben, however you say it. They're afraid of her because she is very iron fist. She's in charge. What she says goes. So she says you can't be friends with the kids. These kids need discipline. They're not going to grow up the way they should. If you're befriending them, you need to be able to be an authority figure. They won't listen to you if you're not an authority figure. But the opposite is actually true. These girls listen to every word she says. They treat her as an equal. She treats them as an equal. And I think that's kind of what's different here, is that she's treating them as if they're equal and not as if they're just someone they're grooming to be this woman that they want them to be. So they connect with her on a different level than they connect with everyone else. And Manuela ends up falling in love with her. And there's this particular scene in the movie where it's later on in the movie, they're putting on a play, and Manuela is kind of the lead of the play. Izzy was originally supposed to be in the play, but so what she's been doing throughout the movie is she'll send a letter to her parents saying that she's hungry, that they're not feeding her, and she'll ask for her mom to send her food. The school marms, O'Brien, got wind of this and said if anyone does this again, there's going to be a heck to pay, especially for the girl who was caught doing it first. We're really going to make an example of you. So they catch her doing this because she's the one who's been doing it, and she's no longer allowed to be in the play, so they take her out. So Manuela is now in the play. She's kind of the lead of the play, from what I gather. And she goes up there. She does a very good job. She's a very good actress, probably the best in the school that they're in. Fry von Bernberg comes up to her later and says, like, you did a very good job. You could be an actress if you really wanted to. That was amazing. All the girls tell her that Fry von Bernberg was complimenting her legs and saying how nice she looked. And they are trying to paint this picture in Manuela's head that this teacher loves her. Manuela already thought this. She had signs throughout the movie that maybe the teacher was falling for her. I think she was. I don't want to. It's hard because your feelings are your feelings, right? But I think that she might have been confusing kind of admiration and affection for love. But then there's also scenes in the movie where it's not really clear whether or not the teacher does have this type of affection for her. The teacher definitely loves her, Fry von Bernberg. And there's scenes where she says things that maybe she is in love with her, but she kind of always totes this line where she doesn't outright come out and say it, but she doesn't outright come out and say that she's not. So there is kind of like this mixed feeling thing, I think, that is happening. But in Manuela's mind, she loves her, and her love is felt back, and she thinks that that they're building chemistry with each other. After the play, all the children, for some reason, they end up giving them alcohol, and Manuela gets incredibly drunk to the point where she's kind of she's not really acting as if she should. And she gets up on stage and she says, I want to make a speech. I'm in love with Fry von Bernberg, and she loves me too. And it's fantastic that we share these feelings for each other. Well, O'Bine hears that this is going on, and she's absolutely appalled of what she's hearing. So she kind of puts Manuela in solitude and says, you cannot have privileges anymore. You can't see the other kids anymore. And you can definitely, that's basically what she says to her. And then she also takes Fry von Bernberg aside, and they're talking. But Fry von Bernberg, she stands up for herself. She says, the way you're teaching the kids is not the way you should be teaching them. They're scared of you. My teaching methods have always been good. I care for the children. They care for me. This is the kind of compassion, and this is what they need in their lives. They don't need to be, they probably feel like they've been abandoned already at certain points. They need someone who's there for them. They need this figure in their life that they don't have. And, O'Bine's not hearing any of that. She doesn't want to hear it. She says, you're not allowed to talk to Manuela at all anymore. You have to cut ties with her. It's best for everyone. So Manuela's coming out of Fry von Bernberg's coming out of O'Bine's office, and Manuela sees her, and she said, and she's on her knees, and she says, I'm so sorry that I got you in trouble. What can I do to make this up to you? I'm so sorry. So then, she says, well, meet me in my room later and we'll talk about this. So Manuela goes to her room and she says, I love you. And then Fry von Bernberg says, you can't say that here. They're going to try to keep you away from everyone to cure you, to help you. And probably the best moment in this movie for me, Manuela looks at her and she's all like, cure me of what? Which I think is perfect, to be honest. I mean, your views or your views, whatever you want to think about the subject. But that line to me is perfect because you have this 14-year-old girl, all she feels is love. She feels this feeling in her heart for another girl. And when they say she's trying to cure her, cure me of what? All I'm doing is I'm in love. There's nothing to cure here. Everyone feels love. I'm just happy to feel it for another person, for another woman. And I love that line. I love that it's said. It's kind of put in there. It's just kind of hidden in there. It's not really focused on. But to me, that's perfect. Absolutely love it. So Fry von Bernberg says, they're just going to keep you in solitude. That doesn't mean you're not going to be able to talk to other people, but they're not going to let you talk to me. This is best for now. This is how they want it, and I think that this is best for both of us, is best for both worlds and everything. So then she leaves. She leaves her room, and O'Bine sees her walking, like sees them together, and she pulls Fry von Berberg aside and she says, "You talked to her even though I told you that you shouldn't talk to her." And Fry von Berberg said, "Yes, I've done it. I'm atoning for what I've done. She needed someone at this moment in life. I was there for her, and I'm not going to apologize. She doesn't have anyone to be this figure in her life. She has no one. She doesn't have a mom. Her mom passed away. So she has no one. So someone has to be there for her, and I'm there for her." So then O'Bine fires her and says, like, "You can't teach her anymore. You can't have these type of relationships with these girls where you're friends with them and they're mistaking it for something else or whatever. Like, you can't do this." So then we cut to a scene of Manuela, who's climbing up the staircase, and she's basically reciting a Bible verse. And you could tell at this moment that what she's going to do, or what she's going to try to do, and what she's thinking, it's foreshadowing as she's going up the stairs what she's going to do. So she climbs onto like the banister of the top of the stairs as if she's going to try to take her life. At this time, all the girls in the school are looking for her, all of her friends, because they don't know where they don't know where she is. They know that she was talking to the headmasters and everything, and they're worried about her. They find her at the staircase. They all scream for her. They go up. They save her. They pull her out. And O'Bine comes up and she says, "What's going on? Why are all you girls gathering here? What's happening?" And Fry von Berberg comes out and she says, "The kids just saved her from doing something that we would have both regretted. You should be thanking them for doing what they did." And then you see O'Bine kind of walking away with her head down, obviously scared and maybe rethinking the way she's taught these kids and rethinking how she's treating people. And that's basically how the movie ends. And I thought this movie was really great. I really like that they're dealing with this type of subject matter. I'm very surprised, like I said in the beginning, that it's 1931 and they're talking about this. But I think it's fitting that it's a female director, female cast, and they're the ones who are able to talk about this subject. I would hate to have seen if like a male director tried to step in and tell a story at this time about like lesbians and the feelings that you have and stuff like that. I think it was done really well. I think it was done about as well as you can do in a movie, to be perfectly honest, whether it's present day or back in the 1930s. And I would never have watched this movie had I not done this list. So I'm really glad that I watched this movie. The acting is really good. Some of the kids who are surrounded by Manuela, I didn't care for too much. They're young actors. It's really like a throw of the dice if a young actor is going to be good or not. And a lot of them are, but some of them aren't. But some of the background characters I thought were okay. Some of them were kind of annoying. I thought that Fry von Berberg was very good in her role, and so was Manuela. That's like the two people you really need to have solid actors in this role, and I thought they did a really fine performance. You really felt the struggle in Manuela towards the end when she just really didn't know what she was doing wrong. And you also see the struggle in Fry von Berberg where you don't even know how she really feels. There's kind of this push and pull and tug of war of her feelings. And I mean, the girl is 14 years old, so clearly she shouldn't come out and say like, "Oh, these are my feelings that I have for her," because she's 14 years old. But I mean, she walks that line through the whole movie, I feel like, where it's a hard line to walk as an actress or an actor. And I thought she did a very good job of it. So I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I am going to give it, let's give it an 8.5. I'm going to give this movie an 8.5. Thank you. I hope you join me for my next review.